All right, we'll just keep going on because I'm assuming everybody heard everything I've read so far. So joys and sorrows, come up and light a candle if you want, or put a joys and sorrows in the basket out in the lobby or here at the sanctuary. And this can be done at any time before the service, in the service, from the beginning through the offertory. And following the service, we have a potluck today where all are welcome, whether you brought food or not. So hang around for some food and good conversation. Before we begin worship, I have a few announcements. We've had some up on the screen, and there's also an insert in your order of service. But I wanted to highlight a few things that are maybe more on the urgent side. So you'll see at the bottom of this, we have a Horizon Women's Retreat that is going to be October 3rd through 5th at Lake Murray in Oklahoma. Registration opened on Friday, 2 days ago. Yesterday, I got a text from Evie Sutton, who is the chair for our planning committee for the retreat. Evie texted that we were 40% full already after 2 days. 2 hours later, I got a second text that said, we are now 55% full. So if you're thinking about going to the Horizon Women's Retreat, you need to go ahead and get signed up pretty quickly. If you register now, you don't have to pay now. You will pay later once the housing situation that you have requested is confirmed. And we do have scholarships available, so if don't let money be an issue. If you see the insert today, there is a QR code on there, and you can find out more information or register with that QR code. The Horizon Women's Retreat is open to all women aligned. Coming up, we have Horizon Players. We'll be doing a play entitled Robot Roundup on August 22nd and 23rd. Tickets are available now, and you can see Eileen Terrell in the fellowship after the service today. And you'll be able to get tickets after today, too, as well. Next Sunday, we have a program fair after church, and there will be informational tables for our committees and our religious education classes. We do have a really great need for educators for our children's education, religious education. You just have to do it once or twice a month. It's not a really big commitment, especially in the summer. We really need people to lead the classes. And there's there are 2 people always in each class, so that adds to us needing more people. They say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a congregation to make this church as great as it is. So we have a terrific opportunity for you to give back by volunteering. We still want you to give financially, but you can find out more about the small groups and the committees that you might want to join. That's a great way to get to know other people at this church. One last announcement. Yeah, we have this afternoon at 3 o'clock, we have a free piano recital by Elliot Nadel. And that will be at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I had the pleasure of being a chaperone for the coming of age teens when we went on the Boston Heritage Tour a couple of months ago. And one of the places we went was the Arlington Street Church. They have a pipe organ there that has 4,000 pipes. And our own Elliot got up and played that that pipe organ just from scratch. I mean, he had something in his head he played, so he will definitely have a great recital today, so we'd love to see you here for that. Okay, that's all my announcements.
Good morning, my name's Alan Gann. I know many of you, my pronouns are he, him, his. I've been coming to Horizon for over 30 years. I've done so many things. First thing I ever did here was I was a YRU youth advisor. I've taught many RE classes from K all the way up. I've served on the board. I've taught and taken many adult RE and spiritual growth classes. I've served on the board. I've made lots of Sunday morning coffee. And as important as Sunday morning coffee is, and it is important, the most important thing and the best thing that we do at Horizon is teach OWL. OWL is our whole lives. It's a lifespan, it's a series of lifespan sexuality education curriculum. And I was blessed to teach the middle school OWL class for 15 years. When Julie Leach, our RE at the time, our DRE at the time, asked me to teach OWL, I thought I was doing her a favor when I said yes. But what I didn't know is that I was saying yes to a calling, in the most spiritual sense of that word. When I took the facilitator training, it like blew my mind at the deepness, the richness of the curriculum. All that I learned about being a better teacher, about how to deal with really emotionally charged topics, about how to reach students using the range of learning modalities, all of that. And then every class I facilitated was a heart-expanding experience. Watching and helping awkward middle schoolers wrestle with the important questions of relationships, identity, and how to mesh our UU values with the world they were actually living in. And the relationships I built. I taught many of your children and many, many others, and I know your families in a way that other people don't. I know your children in a way that you don't know them. And like lots of the students back then wanted to friend me on Facebook. I didn't allow it. You couldn't friend me on Facebook till after you left high school. But many of them waited and did. And I've heard lots and lots of stories about what they learned in OWL was so important in helping them negotiate really difficult times in their lives. I've heard coming out stories, transitioning stories, stories of difficult situations and how they got resolved. Even today, I occasionally will get an email from someone thanking me for some tiny little moment 15 years ago that I can't remember, but has suddenly become very relevant in their lives. I taught so long that one of my students came back and co-taught OWL with me. And I work now for one of my former OWL students. All of which is to say that if that were my only legacy in life, how I influenced our children through OWL, I would have had a successful life. But I'm not here to brag or to reflect, because I could tell you hours and hours of OWL stories. Some of them are very, very funny. I'm here to tell you that we need more OWL teachers so we can teach more OWL classes, so we can serve more of our children. And that's the real point of Horizon, is to it's part of building that beloved community that we sing and talk about. But to do that, we need more OWL teachers. And we are graced right now with having scholarships to pay for the OWL training. And so we want, if you felt the tiniest little spark or tug or excitement when I talked about OWL, it's time to say yes. It's time to talk to Lauren. We need you to do it before the end of August so we can get you into the training and schedule the classes. Don't be worried about what you don't know. The curriculum is rich. It will teach you what you need to know. It will teach you how you need to do it. Don't worry about the subject matter. It's really a well-designed curriculum, and you'll be trained to do it. You will be successful. It's designed to help make you successful. And it's time to say yes. So if you want to, I encourage you to. Even if you think you want to, come talk to Lauren or me. You'll love it. I taught 15 years. Not everybody teaches 15 years. I had lots of people that taught 1 or 2 or 3 years with me. Nobody regretted teaching OWL with me. And you'll love it. But the only way to love it is to do it. So I encourage you, sign up, teach OWL, and have a nice day. Thank you.
Our call to worship is something I wrote. We gather today, drawn by the steady beat of our shared purpose and the joyful syncopation of our diverse lives. In the quiet spaces of our hearts, a sacred rhythm resides. It is the pulse of our deepest values, the ebb and flow of our hopes and dreams. Let's listen to that inner rhythm now and allow it to guide us into a time of reflection, connection, and renewal. Let us attune ourselves to the rhythms of community, where every voice and every spirit contributes to the harmony of our shared journey. Our chalice lighting is by Eric Walker Wickstrom. Here today, in this place, and with these people, may we listen so that we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves in this world. May this chalice we light our way.
Please join me in our affirmation, which is printed on the back of your order of service and projected on the screen. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth. Thus do we covenant together. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, Your Mercy, O Eternal One, number 185 in the gray hymnal.
Your mercy, O Eternal One, by no heart measured yet, in joy or grief or shade or sun, I never will forget. I give the whole and not the part of all you gave to me. My goods, my life, my soul, my heart, I yield them all as free. And when in silent awe we wait, and word and sign forbear, the hinges of the golden gate move soundless at our prayer.
Before we do our story this morning, I just want to remind you that we partner with several charity organizations around, around the Metroplex to help serve others. And one of our main partners is MetroCrest Services, and we always collect things for their food pantry, like shelf-stable items, not in glass though, personal care products. And you can bring them to church every Sunday, and they can go in the basket here or in the lobby. Same with our little free pantry in the parking lot. Right now, because of the heat, we're looking at dried goods like oatmeal, cereal, powdered milk, things like that. And I noticed that a lot of our donations have already been taken by somebody, which is great. So please always when you're shopping, keep those organizations in mind. So now I've got an interactive story for you. Let me get to my storytelling stool. Okay, so can we put up the first slide? Of course, the book is called I Got Rhythm, because today is all about rhythm. And we're gonna see if you've got rhythm too. Could we see the first page, please? So this is going to be a call and response. So I have a couple of people that are gonna kind of help me, but what you gotta do is just kind of keep a rhythm in your head. Maybe not, might not do them out loud because you know how people in a crowd start going faster and faster. But I will read the whole thing, and when I point to you, you're gonna respond with the last 2 or 3 words that are in uppercase. In this case, it's think, think. So this is what I'm gonna say. I thought of a rhythm in my mind, think, think. Excellent. And we're going to do the same throughout the book. All right? So let's get started once again from the top. I thought of a rhythm in my mind. Think, think. I heard the rhythm with my ears. Beat, beat. I looked at the rhythm with my eyes. Blink, blink. I smelled the rhythm with my nose. Sniff, sniff. I sang the rhythm with my mouth. Ooh la la. I caught the rhythm with my hands. Clap, clap. I kept the rhythm with my fingers. Snap, snap. I just shook the rhythm with my hips. Shake, shake. I felt the rhythm with my knees. Knock, knock. I walked the rhythm with my feet. Stomp, stomp. I tapped the rhythm with my toes. Tip, tap. I danced to the rhythm of a drum. Beat, bop. Excellent. I clapped and snapped. I tipped and tapped. I popped and locked. I hipped and hopped. Beat, bop. Bing, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Excellent. Boom, box, beat, bop, kaboom, kaboom. I got the rhythm, and you can too. Oh, you all did such a great job. Good job. Thank you so much. And now we're going to take any kids 6 and over to the back for their classes. So let's go, folks.
May your mind be open to new learning. May your lips bring truth into the world. May your heart know love and your hands do the work of justice as you go your way in peace. As you go your way in peace.
For the month of August, we are supporting the diverse and revolutionary UU Multicultural Ministries, or DRUM. 100% of all unpledged donations this week go to support this organization. You may also donate throughout the month on the Breeze app or on our website. Just choose Give to Share the Plate as the recipient. I would now like to invite Menika Padakandala to introduce DRUM to us.
My name is Menika. My pronouns are she, her, or they, them. As Donna said, DRUM stands for Diverse and Revolutionary Unitarian Universalist Multicultural Ministries. Founded in 1997, it's a UU BIPOC, or Black, Indigenous people of color part of Unitarian Universalism. So I wanted to talk about, just for a few minutes, about kind of the climate of fear that we live in right now with the way things are. And I've grown up with, a lot of privilege in my life, and as an Indian American, never really having grown up, living in fear, but now I feel that fear. Of what could happen if, in a public place. And Bhaskar and I actually, our family carries our passports, copies of our passports with us, and then we have a contingency plan for if we're ever detained. We know some people in high places and, in the government, state, and federal, and we've actually had conversations about that. But so coming back to Drum, I found it in during the pandemic in 2020. And it's just been such a safe place for me. I've gone to many of their online activities, and they have the Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Caucus, which it's so nice to be able to kind of talk to other people who really know how you feel and what how you've experienced life and culture growing up. My recent experiences at General Assembly, which is the Unitarian Universalist annual meeting, which was in Baltimore this past June, they had a drum room, and again, it was just such a safe place to be able to go to be with other people of color and talk about our similar experiences. So now we're going to watch a short video.
Good morning, everyone. Wish I was there in person. Today I want to speak to you about why your generous support for Drum, diverse, revolutionary UU multicultural ministries, matters now more than ever. We're living in a weird time, a time of rising authoritarianism, political polarization, and coordinated attacks on diversity, equity, and inclusion. From book bans to anti-immigrant rhetoric, from the rollback of civil rights protections to the silencing of voices of color, the values we hold dear as Unitarian Universalists are under siege. In the face of this growing hostility, Drum stands as a beacon of resistance and hope. Drum is not just an organization. It's a spiritual home, a lifeline, and a sanctuary of empowerment for UUs of color across the country. It is a living expression of our faith's deepest commitments to justice, equity, and beloved community. Through powerful retreats, transformative worship, and deeply affirming workshops, Drum creates spaces where BIPOC UUs can be fully seen, spiritually nourished, and strengthened to face a world that too often denies their worth. Drum has offered people their first true sense of belonging in our faith, just like I experienced on my first retreat last year. That kind of leadership is essential, and that kind of healing is needed. And it does not happen by accident. It happens because of you, because we choose to show up and invest in the future we believe in. So when we give to Drum, we're not just funding a program, we're protecting sacred space in a time of spiritual danger. We're saying yes to our values, yes to the community, yes to a Unitarian Universalism that isn't afraid to be bold, multicultural, and just. I invite you, I urge you to give generously. Let us ensure that Drum continues to thrive, to grow, and to transform lives and our faith movement for generations to come. Thank you, everybody. Love you.
It is said that the Lord loves a cheerful giver, yet will accept from a grouch as well. As the ushers prepare to gather this morning's offering, may each of us look not only into our wallets and our checkbooks to see how much we have with us. Let us look into our hearts as well and see what is available there. How much love, how much generosity, how much faith, and how much hope, how much gratitude. And let us give our offering from that account. Let us be grateful for all those who share their gifts, for we are enriched by their giving. And let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others. Please make any checks payable to Horizon Unitarian Universalist Church. Thank you to our members and friends who give and pledge electronically. If you would like to give electronically, you may do so on the Breeze app or online at horizonuu.org/donate. The offering will now be joyfully given and received. Thank you for your generosity. So our first reading is quotes from Babakunde Alatunde, a Nigerian drummer, educator, social activist, and recording artist. So his first quote, "If schools would teach drumming to all children in their community, they would soon develop a community action plan. They would realize the power of the drum to mobilize people. They would come to know from experiences with drumming that unless you act together, there will be discord. Drums help our young people develop a unity of purpose. Once they have that, they will be able to provide positive programs of action." Second quote, "I am the drum, you are the drum, we are the drum. Because the whole world revolves in rhythm, and rhythm is the soul of life. For everything that we do in life is in rhythm." When asked if he believed that drumming heals, here was his answer. "Possibly. For now, we are now experiencing and trying to discover how it works. We use our instruments to bring people together. We know that it will always do that. And instruments that we use in Africa are sources of communication. The other aspects of it that we use for healing. That is an important aspect of drumming in African music, the polyrhythmic nature. We know that the rhythm is the soul of life. Every cell in your body and mind is in constant frequency in rhythm. Everything that we do is in our body. It energizes every cell in our body. That music, it attracts. We try to find the answers of how music can be used to heal. We will come to it somehow, but words are not competitive. They're not adequate to describe how you feel if you're tired or if you feel competitive. But once you start, the adrenaline flows. You become more energetic. You feel something flowing through your whole body. You can't say what it is, but it is something powerful. You feel the excess of it. That's what happens. That aspect of it is what we know that has come to maintain the validity of that. But we know it heals. It heals. It heals for me personally. It has helped me, healed me through many, many conditions. I know that if it affects me, it will affect others, definitely.
From all that dwell below the skies, let songs of hope and faith arise. Let peace, goodwill on earth be sung, through every land, by every tongue.
We now take the time to honor the sorrows and joys of the community, knowing that we are all interconnected and that one affects all of us. We have from Alan Sproat. He is recovering very well and talking. Yay! We have an anonymous one that says, I'm $500 in the hole financially and don't know what to do. I can't afford my medication. I don't know who that is, though. A joy for the wonderful lasagna with the Horizon Pagans yesterday. Thank you. And Trish, Camilla Norder's wife, passed this week. There will be a service, I believe, at Metrocrest on Tuesday. We light a candle this morning to honor all of the joys and sorrows which have been unspoken and reside only in our hearts. Please join me in the spirit of prayer and meditation in whatever way feels appropriate. It will be followed by the responsive hymn, Be Ye Lamps Unto Yourselves, number 184 in the gray hymnal.
Be ye lamps unto yourselves, be your own confidence. Hold to the truth within yourselves, as to the only lamp.
Our second reading is from Oralizing in the, in the Sonosphere by Pauline Oliveros. We live in a sonorous environment. Most of the time, we shut out sound that is extraneous to our current purposes. It takes energy to ignore sounds. Our ears respond to sound involuntarily. It is the brain that processes sound to extrapolate meaning and take action. I have faith in listening. Listening brings me to faith. Faith that I can believe my ears as much as I can believe my eyes. Sound impacts my body and resonates within. Sounds keep returning to me as I listen. I think how limited our vocabulary is when it comes to discussing inner or mental sound and sounding. We have the word imagination. Imagination refers to the visual sense, even though it is used to refer to all senses: imaginative hearing, imaginative touching, imaginative tasting, even imaginative smelling. We need a word that highlights the auditory cortex and supports a listening approach to the world complementary to the visual. The word is Kleiner's oralization. Did I say that right? Okay, close enough. Okay, oralization. I appropriated this usage to refer to mentally modeling sound in memory creatively. We need to know that this is possible in dreams as well as daily life. We need to know that this is possible in daily life. We can listen to dreams. We can project sound in space or the sounding of a composition in inner space. We can do this as an improvisation. We can oralize an improvisation. We can oralize a score without sounding a note. The body can resonate with such oralizations.
Days can be sunny with never a sigh. Don't need what money can buy. Birds in the trees sing their day full of song. Why shouldn't we sing along? I'm chipper all the day, happy with my lot. How do I get that way? Look at what I've got. I got rhythm, I got music, I got my man who could ask for anything more. I got daisies in green pastures, I got my man who could ask for anything more. Old man trouble, I don't mind him, you won't find him around my door. I got starlight, I got sweet dreams, I got my man who could ask for anything more, who could ask for anything more.
I'm going to be talking about rhythms and definitely of the sound variety, but I'm going to be talking about a lot more than just rhythms today. I work in computers today, as some of you may know, but my college degree is in music education. I actually started school as an electrical engineering major, but I found that that didn't quite match me personality-wise. But the scientific background lit me up with when I was learning things like music theory. There's a lot of music math majors at my school, for example. But this topic does resonate with me, but very much more than just the musical aspect. Today's topic will be a bit of a multimedia experience, so I hope you enjoy it. But let me start out with what is rhythm. So the Oxford Dictionary of English says rhythm is the measured flow of words or phrases in verse, forming various patterns of sound, is determined by the relationship of long and short or stressed and unstressed syllables in a metrical foot or line. Performance arts, rhythm is the timing of events on a human scale, so short scale, of musical sounds and silences occur over time, or the steps of a dance or the meter of spoken language and poetry. Rhythm may also refer to the visual presentation as timed movement through space, and a common language of patterns unites rhythm with geometry. For example, architects can speak of the rhythm of a building, referring to the patterns in the spacing of windows, columns, and other elements. Rhythm is one of the central aspects of music in all its forms. Rhythm gives structure to the music and brings the music notes to life. Rhythm, however, is not just for music. Life is full of rhythms. There are many kinds of natural rhythms, such as when a person walks, when the waves at a shore, the dripping tap. We feel deeply the cycles of the sun and the moon, planting, harvest. The whole body is replete with rhythmical processes, such as respiration, heartbeat, circadian rhythms. I'm going to explore some of these with you today. But first, we're going to talk about the musical one. So, have you all seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit? And you know that scene where the inspector's there and trying to get Roger Rabbit, who he knows is hiding, but Roger Rabbit can't hold himself back, so he goes, yes. So that is saving a haircut 2 bits. In a simple musical rhythm, in patterns and sounds, silences is a piece of music. Just like the steady beat of a drum or the ticking of a clock, rhythm provides structure and organization to music. It's what makes us tap our feet, nod our heads, and dance along to our favorite songs. Music rhythm can vary widely, from the steady, predictable beat, 4/4 beats in marching band. It can also have complex beats in jazz and Latin music. Each style of music has its own unique rhythms that help define its sound and character. A rhythm is made up of different elements, including notes and beats, accents. Notes are the individual sounds we hear, while beats are the steady pulses that drive the music forward. Accents add emphasis, intensity to certain notes, creating dynamics and variation within the rhythm. The tempo is how quickly or slowly those beats are occurring. In Western music, musics are often organized into measures or bars, with each measure containing a set number of beats. This helps give music a sense of structure and coherence, allowing performers to stay in time with each other. I do want to call out two musical examples. You've heard one earlier, which is Take 5. That was an example of not using a common 4/4 beat, but that was Take 5. It's in 5 beats. Another one is I'm going to show you an example of polyrhythms. So we'll show a quick video about that, and then we'll continue onwards. This is Baba Tunde, an African. I'm going to go ahead and move along because we are running a little bit long, so I appreciate that. This is just some of the rhythms in music. I'm going to talk about rhythms in relationships next. So, have you ever heard the term of clicking or being in sync with someone? How do we feel about another person is often conveyed by our thoughts or rhythm, or by or through rhythm. Walkers, they're in sync. They will synchronize their steps to aid in communications. Social encounters with rhythm influence our attitudes. The extent to which a person synchronizes with an experimenter affects the person's opinion or likability of the experimenter. University students were instructed to tap along to a metronome while an experimenter was also tapping their finger nearby. When the experimenter and the tapped at the same rate, and the rating given to the response is how likable was the experiment was higher. Likability aside, the mere presence of another person drumming along with the task will improve performance. Preschool-aged children asked to perform a rhythmic synchronization task perform it better if they are drumming along with another human than to an impersonal beat coming from a loudspeaker. Along similar lines, brain rhythms of musical performers and their audience has been measured in concert settings. The brain rhythms tend to synchronize, and the more synchronization between the performer and the listener, the more listeners report enjoying the performance. One group I ran across while researching this was Musicians Without Borders. Music empowers, creates connections, and strengthens empathy. Musicians Without Borders works to inspire and support musicians everywhere to use the power of music to create positive change in their communities. In collaboration with local musicians and organizations, Musicians Without Borders brings music to people in places affected by war, armed conflict, and displacement. Another place that rhythm comes up is in speech. If I talk about rhythm in speech, the first thing you probably think about is poetry or iambic pentameter. Now, there's much more to rhythm in speech than just that. When we speak, we communicate not only with words that we choose, but also with the rhythm of speech. A generally slow pace creates a calm mood, whereas a quick pace suggests excitement or impatience. A frequent change of pace with a long speech is likely to create a sense of instability or volatility. Pauses between words contribute significantly to expressive speech. A speech unbroken by pauses is likely to strike listeners as confident, controlled, and motivational. Rhythm is a necessary ingredient of linguistic communication itself. There's a rhythm in language beyond the rhyming of poetry. It's inherent as part of the communication. Rhythm matters even in the single words. For example, record, record, contrast, contrast, project, project, or produce, or produce. These can either be nouns or verbs, depending on which syllable is stressed. Running speech also has its rhythm. There's a YouTube search, and you can do it for drumming to speech. And it's an interesting thing. We're going to share a video about this. This is from the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka movie. And there's a drummer who's going to play along with the speech from the scene. And it's a very interesting thing to really show the rhythm that's going on in our speech. Do you want to go ahead and show that?
Mr. Walker?
I am extraordinarily busy, sir.
I just wanted to ask about the chocolate. The lifetime supply of chocolate for Charlie. When does he get it?
He doesn't,
Why not?
because he broke the rules.
What rule? We didn't see any rules, did we, Charlie?
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Under Section 37B of the contract signed by him, it states quite clearly that all offers shall become null and void if, and you can read it for yourself in this photostatic copy, I, the undersigned, shall forfeit all rights, privileges, and licenses herein and herein contained, etc., etc. Fax mentis incendium gloria culpum, etc., etc.
Thank you. I saw that, I was like, oh, that just explains the topic so well, just something that I can show you like that. But rhythm in speech tells us when important information starts and stops. Stressed syllables emerge at roughly regular intervals and importantly carry the majority of information of a speech. With an ongoing rhythmic flow, the listener is guided to the important features of the sentence by the expectancy rhythm sets up. And so primed, we understand the content of spoken words better. With the understanding of spoken speech comes the ability, when listening to read or learning to read, to make the necessary connections between the sounds of language and its written form. One of the greatest impediments to spoken word communications is noise. The rhythm of speech helps us. That is because the rhythm in speech helps us fill in the gaps when noise causes us to miss a few words. Just as the rhythmic pattern evolves over the course of a measure of music, running speech often evolves over time and thus is suited for a slower scale of auditory processing. The strong and weak stresses, the phrases, the boundaries of language are relevant to the whole spoken sequence. The ability to reproduce rhythmic patterns, to draw some of the same skills required for forming the auditory scenes that compromise hearing speech that is barely audible above noise. Therapists have long used their capacity to perceive sounds to strengthen communication skills. They rely on the rhythm and the concepts of entrainment to a beat, violations of a beat, and the pattern recognition as the core features of their protocols. You might have seen the film Colin Firth and the film The King's Speech. So he had a stuttering problem, and one of the ways he got over it was by rhythmically saying his words, using rhythm to stabilize and provide a foundation so he could get his words out clearly. Another part of the rhythm I ran across was in brain science. And there's a growing group of research that suggests that your consciousness is caused by rhythm in the brain. So our brains process rhythmic information in a precise way. Our bodies have natural inherent rhythms controlled by a part of the cerebellum, which is at the very back of the brain. It's a lobe that contains the thickest neural tissue of the entire brain. Every animal with a backbone has the cerebellum. Reptiles and amphibians only have cerebellum, which is why many neuroscientists refer to the cerebellum as the reptilian brain. This portion of the brain regulates the internal rhythms of a body, including the heartbeat, balance, and breathing. It's also the part of the brain that primarily reacts to music. It is a nice, steady beat, and if it has a nice, steady beat, and it can make you move to a tempo. Brain rhythms, or brain waves you'll sometimes hear, are the rhythmic patterns of electrical activity produced by the brain's neurons. They're measured in hertz, or cycles per second, and they vary in frequency and amplitude, corresponding to different states of consciousness. There's a few common types that you'll hear about. So there's delta waves. They're primarily associated with deep sleep. They're about 4 cycles per second, pretty long. Theta is the next one. It's linked to drowsiness, relaxation, daydreaming, early stages of sleep. That's about 4 to 8 hertz. There's alpha waves, which are dominant when relaxed, but with eyes closed and associated with a state of calm alertness, about 8 to 12 cycles per second. Then there's beta, which is present during active thinking, problem solving, and focused attention. And finally, there's gamma. That's very fast, about 30 to 100 cycles per second. And it's associated with higher cognitive functions, such as learning, memory, and perception. I had not heard about theta waves, but the current research around it has found that when your brain works particularly hard, different regions of the brain sync up and work together to perform a task that require a higher cognitive load. This is called theta connectivity. And a new study has found that not only is it highly flexible, adapting quickly to changing situations, but better brain coordination strongly coordinates with cognitive ability. Another topic of rhythm is rhythm and architecture, and we alluded to that in part earlier. So repetition as rhythm suggests a musical analogy. Musical rhythms already implies a regular cadence or meter. In short, it's tempo. After a certain amount of time has passed in a piece of music, either a change occurs or an element repeats. According to Roman architect Vitruvius, he defined the three principles of good architecture. There's formatus, or durability, there's utilitas, or utility, and there's venustasis, or beauty. When we talk about the rhythm in architecture, we are definitely talking about the last one, or beauty. So, according to Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, I call architecture frozen music. Rhythm is a regular and repeated pattern, but when we think of it visually, well, as a design principle, rhythm can be defined in architecture as a patterned repetition of elements in space. And you can go ahead and start to show some of those I've got. We place elements and the experiences in the intervals between them. And when our eyes move from one element to the next, we create a rhythm. And through this rhythm in space, we can enjoy a sense of organized movement as a musical beat. So rhythm in architecture is defined as a unifying movement characterized by patterned repetition or alternation of formal elements or motifs in the same as or modified form. Rhythm is just an organization of the repetitive forms, elements, and architectures in space. You can obviously see the rhythms in these different architectures. Some of these remind me of my school. There was a walkway at Texas Tech where it was just an archway that you could walk through, and there was a spacing to it that you'd get a timing through. So rhythm is established by using repeated forms. In architecture, repeated forms used usually in a pattern in which the size, shape, or color is used. Some might recognize that local bridge. Yeah, rhythm in architecture can also be used to follow on facades of buildings in which can be regular, flowing, or progressive. That's obviously a certain bridge here we have in Dallas. Another topic on this one I found interesting was urban rhythm. So urban rhythm refers to the recurring of patterns of activity, movement, and rest that shape a city's temporal and spatial character. It encompasses the daily cycles of life, the cultural events, and even the flow of traffic, all contributing to the unique pulse of a city. You've all felt this. Different cities have different timing, different pulse. Understanding these rhythms is crucial for urban planning and design, aiming to create spaces that harmonize with and enhance the natural cadence of a city. Both cities and music are compositions of various rhythms. They both structure the time, they both produce sound, and they both have the ability to move us both physically and emotionally. We only have to listen with our ears and with our bodies to find music embedded in our cities in its various forms. According to Sarah Aditya in Musical Cities, it is an exploration of the music composed not by composers, but by the urban designers and planners, played not by musicians, but by each and every one of us as we perform our urban activities. It is an investigation of the rhythms that structure our urban environments in our everyday lives. It is a search for more livable rhythms in the temporal art of music. With respect to our cities, an urban rhythm can just be considered the approximate repetition of any urban interaction at a time scale. Some rhythms we find in urban environments include daily lives and routines, those predictable yet distinct patterns of daily lives, cultural events or festivals. These will be different things: Festival at the Switchyard, 4th of July parade. Mobility and transportation has another timing, the flow of vehicles, rush hour, peak time, off cycles. Natural cycles. The rhythm of day and night, the seasonal changes also affect the influence of urban life and the way spaces are used. There's institutional rhythms, structured patterns imposed by institutions such as work schedules, opening hours, and technological influences. Social media and other technologies are increasingly influencing the way we perceive and interact with urban rhythms. Urban life can thus be seen as a dynamic composition of people, their activities, and their mobilities. And the repeated interaction of these urban flows can be seen to produce regularly timed interactions. Urban geographer Anne Buttimer was to describe the city as an orchestration of various time-space rhythms, similar to the relationship between the individual parts of music. Another rhythm we find in our lives is in families, so household rhythms. Household rhythms refer to the regular pattern of routines that govern our daily and weekly routines within a home. They're daily patterns repeated by the family and the household members. These rhythms include sleep and wake-up times, meal schedules, chores, special occasion and events, individual schedules, and family activities. Essentially, they create a predictable ebb and flow to daily life, helping everyone in the household meet their responsibilities and understand what to expect and when. In my life, I have a yoga workout on Wednesdays and also on Saturdays. Saturday is also my work get-up caught day. I usually do groceries on Fridays, and we have church every Sunday morning. And Sunday night is the day I finish getting ready or organized for the next week. We used to have a dinner cycle at about 6 o'clock, but that shifted over time as our lives have evolved. So our kids grew older, their evening activities changed, and we moved to a later dinner time. But dinner is all together, though breakfasts are each at their own timing since we all start our days at different times. So, for example, in our house, piano practice is generally around 5 p.m., after work but before dinner. Don't think of these schedules as something that has to be set in stone. These change over time and can be flexible. But these provide a softer framework rather than the all or nothing cycle of a hard and fast schedule. Just as in music, tempos can speed up and slow down. Similarly, is our energy, our commitments, and just how we feel influence the rhythms in our lives. This is actually what got me to this topic. So I was talking with Elliot about cooking, and I started to describe how there is a rhythm we use when we cook. So that's what started this whole thing. So there's a time for stuff in the kitchen. You'll do your prep work, you will get all of your food ready, but not too soon because you want to make sure it doesn't start to yellow brown. And then you know when certain things start. So certain things are going to need to boil, certain things are going to saute, then you'll do your sweating of your vegetables or whatever. That's what inspired this whole sermon. So rhythm in cooking refers to predictable flowing patterns of movements and actions that a cook uses to prepare a meal, often influenced by factors like the recipe, the ingredients, and even the cook's personal style. It encompasses the timing, coordination, repetition of tasks. According to Chef Zachary Palacio, good cooks have a natural groove. You can hear it in the way they chop. We also have a rhythm to how we serve our food that you'll see in restaurants. We have our drinks served first, followed by an appetizer and then a soup or salad. Then we have our main course, followed by a dessert and possibly a coffee or a liqueur. Some restaurants even use more or smaller courses to have a whole flow to the entire meal with ebbs and flows. Who said dessert has to be last? An Oxford professor, Charles Spence, wrote in a 2015 paper, "Music from your kitchen, the music you listen to while cooking or eating could affect how your food tastes." He highlights a phenomenon called cross-modal correspondence, and the way our senses interact and influence each other. For example, a song deemed sweet by the listener may enhance the overall sweetness of a dish, while a sour song may emphasize the bitterness of a meal. While this effect is more noticeable during eating, Spence also suggests it could also influence how we season and plate the food during preparations. You may not realize it, but the song you're listening to might lead you to reach for more salt, spice, or lemon. Now, while I was researching this, I did run across a Google site. It's about the rhythm of food. They've got some charts on here. So this is searches throughout the whole year for different types of foods. And so this being August, I said, what are the most popular foods in this? And this is a loop going around in a year. So for August, the foods that are searched for most in August, we've got peach, garden tomatoes, eggplant, okra, elderberry, and chokeberry. I do not know what a chokeberry is. Some foods are very periodic. So if you look over here, you'll see blueberry is very much in the summer. Stew, you'll see over to the top right, that's very in the winter months. And then there's pumpkin spice latte, which you see is one little part of the year. And then there's some holiday-related searches. So you'll have one that's fruit salad. You'll see where that peaks up here in December. And then another one is gefilte fish, which you'll see is over there for a different time. And then mint julep also, that lines up with the Kentucky Derby. So rhythms and foods. But what I shared today isn't the most profound lesson in how to live your life, but instead offers a new way of viewing things you might already be familiar with through the lens of rhythm and patterns. Our shared values of transformation, challenges that we should adapt to a changing world. I offer that viewing the world through rhythms enables a new way for you to understand and adapt to it. Rhythms are part of our normal environment that affect our senses. From what we feel when riding a train to our daily patterns in our urban lives, rhythms everywhere. It is deeply embedded in our brains and likely something we share with all mammals. So, as you leave here today, Look around you at the rhythms in your life and the lives around you. Thank you very much.
We extinguish this flame, but not our commitment to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. This we do because we envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping all to thrive in a just world. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, The Fire of Commitment, number 1028 in the Teal hymnal.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. This is also in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Down the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin.
Our benediction is by Christian Green. Spirit of life, love, and good vibrations, I am grateful for the gift of my own heartbeat. I humbly pray that my fear and worry will fall away and that doing it right or wrong will no longer be the driving force of my life. May the rhythms of my life meet and merge with others to create the music of our beloved community. Thank you.
Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, I come here. Well, okay, Mike's still on.